proceed is going to be fast. And as we can see, we're already starting with a 15 strength and stop spell, so this could be a fast seed.
Indeed, yeah, that's a nice starting strength to see. There'll be a lot of monsters in the initial zone, that the players will be able to take out, but let's see what's in the starting chests.
Death Necklace is a really interesting starting item, because if you sell it, it's good for 1,500 gold. And,
1,200,
an immediate broad, 1,200. Okay, 1,200. Well, 1,200. So that's good for a hand axe, a chainmail, or a large shield. You can buy a bunch of stuff with it, or do you hang on to it? And maybe it's necessary. We don't know.
Yeah, with 15 strength, I have to imagine, there's a droll right off the bat for NESCardinality, so it seems like the Tanager Castle is kind of in the corner of the water over there, and so if you travel a little ways out, it might be the case that you end up immediately going into Zone 1 or Zone 2 a bit to the left there, but it looks like with the starting gold, I guess both players were going to try to go just to see if there was a town anywhere.
Yeah, indeed. And
the
we got a Magic Drake. We have a Magidrakey here. Probably not real doable. Yeah, especially not with the hurt spell.
Yeah, it's all flash a stop spell, but with the hurt spell, yeah, that's not going to make it in commission unless it turns out that the stop spell is like 75% and they've just gotten unlucky. But there is red slime.
You can always cast stop spell because you have that, and maybe it becomes a free. Maybe it becomes a free fight.
Oh. Right, I forgot that they started with Stop Spell. I was so excited about 15 strength that I'd completely forgotten about Stop Spell. That's going to be potentially a great spell for a variety of zones, depending upon what monsters have what capabilities.
We do have NESCard getting to level 2. Oh, a huge strength and agility boost.
Alright, so you were talking about this one getting off to a fast start, and it looks like it could be that way. Ness might be able to start dealing with Zone 2 monsters already.
Yeah, it looks like he should be able to two-hit this droll. Oh, no, he low rolls the second hit.
So possibly not quite there yet, but one or two more monsters, and both players are probably likely to be comfortable in the starting area.
jkoper trying to stop spell a Magidrakey, and it didn't hit, and then his stop spell got stop spelled. So, yeah. jkoper now hitting level 2, where we know we have an excellent strength and agility gain waiting, although HP, not so nice right this second.
Yeah, the hit points are really low, and yeah, even if all of the rest of your stats are doing pretty well, especially in the early game, those low hit points can really prevent you from getting very far, because if there's any enemies that just happen to be able to one-shot you, you'll just be out of luck.
And level 3 gives decent stat gains and the outside spell.
Indeed. So with that, Ness has 24 agility. He's going to start looking around a little bit just to see if there's any towns nearby, and there is a cave up here in the northern branch, which he may or may not make it to. And from the Motion Mountain?
I'm thinking Grave. Because he was able to go up and down.
Ah, okay. I didn't see the downward movement. And meanwhile, jkoper does get over to level 3 as well, so he's just continuing to grind the initial zone.
And we have the torch, we have the stones, and another torch in the Grave of Garen. So, one of our key items has been obtained, and a bunch of fire sources.
Yeah, kind of disappointing set of first chests to get out of the grave. But it's useful to know it's there. I'm sure NESCardinality has it mapped. The Stones of Sunlight, as you said, are one of the key quest items that the players need to obtain, along with the Silver Harp, which they can later turn into the Staff of Rain, and Erdrick's Token, in order to get a Rainbow Drop, which will eventually, at the end of the game, let them get into Charlotte Castle to try to kill the Dragon Lord.
Indeed, jkoper getting to level 4, and level 4, a whole bunch of not much. 6 MP, not bad, but otherwise it's pretty well a zonk.
And yeah, those HP still at 15 at level 4, that's really awful. That's also going to make it even difficult when they don't have any healing here at the start. If there's any swamps that they need to cross to really get anywhere on this map, that's going to be a real drag until they get some more hit points.
I mean, even this, 3-4 steps in the swamp here that NESCard has to go through, I mean, that's going to take him into the red real quick.
Yeah, each swamp tile is going to take off 2 of his hit points, so even if you just have to step off 3, that's like practically half your hit points at this level, which is crazy to think about.
So I'm wondering if now these guys are just going to settle in, do a little bit of grinding, given their strength. I mean, certainly, the Magidrakes that are here and whatever else may be in Zone 1, certainly should be doable.
Yeah, it's a tough call. Like, the agility is... if there was... Yeah, I guess you probably do just want to settle into a grind right now and just hope... You can probably get to level 5 just grinding Zone 0 and Zone 1 if you're going to be patient for a few minutes, and hopefully some more hit points will come, and that'll make it easier to walk around.
And with this kill, NESCardinality will get to level 4 and get his whole bunch of not much.
Yeah, seeing the 0 hit points. It's got to be a disappointment for everyone other than Empty Eye, who says, I love it.
NESCard can't even take on a Metal Scorpion, even though he has the strength to take one down. He does not have the longevity. The Metal Scorpions can 1 or most certainly 2 hit him back to start. jkoper has found some ghosts just north of Tantagel Castle. That's not bad experience for, right this second.
And it looks like jkoper is going to press to take a look at what's over here. He's also going to discover the tomb and check out the 3 chests that are up there. And I feel like it's about, I don't know. Well, it looks like he might actually walk all the way up to the chests without getting any encounters. I think that's like a 1 in 10 shot or something, so that's actually very good walking luck to not encounter any enemies on the way over to these chests. But he is going to pick up the 3 items as well.
Yep, this is pretty much the definition of what we call it. Well, it does a little more exploration. I'm not liking the looks of that swamp right there, and he's not liking the looks of that green dragon.
Yeah, I see both players probably settling in to get at least 82 experience to get up to level 5 and hope that they get something that's going to help them out a bit better. And yeah, obviously we can see that the randomizer randomizes a lot of different things, including the map. As a result, they've started in this weird corner in Tantagel, with the land branching off in 2 different directions. In addition to the map being randomized, the chest contents are randomized in the various dungeons. Enemy capabilities are randomized. What else is there?
Shop contents randomized. I don't know if you mentioned that. My USB cut up there for a second. Map randomized, and general locations are randomized. Dragon Lord 2 HP is randomized between 150 and 165.
Right, enemy stop spell resistances are randomized. Someone had tried to stop spell the Magidrakes and actually failed, which is pretty unlikely because it's a low-level enemy, and so it has a low-level maximum stop spell resistance, but apparently it rolled high on this particular seed. And the chat says the commentators for the races are randomized.
Oh, that is absolutely a true statement. And we do have NESCard getting to level 5. Let's see if they get any sort of staying power.
4, 7, 0, 27. Did I just read that right? 0 hit points again?
0 hit points again, but the big thing, 27 MP and hurt more. So you're going to see experience levels go up real quick.
And I missed where the 0 was because the tracker is showing the hit points are now in the 20s. So, but yeah, hurt more is obviously huge. Even when you do have low hit points or low defense power, with any kind of decent agility, and 30 is decent agility for up to mid-tier enemies. Hey, there's a town up there that Nest is headed to. You're likely to get the first action against a lot of enemies, and so like 2/3 of the enemies on the map you'll just one-shot kill with Hurt More. Oh, but the town is Hawk's Nest, and so it's not immediately useful.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if NESCard goes back in there once he takes a death warp and refills his HP and MP, because with Hurtmore, if that's an Axe Knight there, that is certainly doable, and with some more HP, an Armored Knight would certainly be doable.
Yeah, the thing with the Axe Knight is right now with just agility in the 30s, I'm not sure. I guess you're probably like around even odds to get first action against him, and you'd have to walk over a couple of swap tiles just to get over to his tile on inside Hawk's Nest, and so there'd be pretty much no way you'd survive an attack.
With the sleep spell, I mean, now maybe you think about, okay, well, you take a chance if a stone man happens to be there, you put him to sleep, and maybe you get lucky with a couple of Hurtmores. Maybe
it's a possibility. I don't hate that idea. Still feels like kind of the realms of long shot, though. But Ness is going to now venture out in the other direction, further to the west, to check out what's on the map over here, even though he has to traverse some swamp tiles to do it. And there is another cave. And it looks to be Swamp North.
Yep, indeed. So it looks like he's going to traverse through it, and best case scenario is he pops out in Garenham. Second best case scenario, pops out the back of Tandagil. Or you pop out in the middle of nowhere.
New section of the map with desert tiles, and hey, it's a hurtmoreable enemy, so that's at least good. jkoper is also headed over in that direction, and it was pointed out before that we popped up the stats for the Magidrake, and it was 1 in 16 stop spell resistance, so jkoper got super unlucky when his stop spells failed that one time.
And we have NESCard here getting level 7. What do we have stat-wise?
2, 5, 2, 1.
Ooh, but we got the heal spell. That's the biggest thing there.
Yeah, that's actually a huge, even with just 33 hit points, like such a huge difference, so they can get across swamp and still be able to survive an attack from some mid-tier enemies.
Well, he's going to try to survive an attack from an Armored Knight. Maybe they have something...
Seems unlikely. Oh, he does it! Ooh. Wow!
Oh, that's big. That's a nice juicy 172 experience points super early.
Next one he's not going to be able to survive unless somehow it has stop spell or something. He's going to take a shot with Hurtmore, but it just takes a swing and sends him back home. But he's going back home with a nice little experience lead for the moment. There are Magi-Wyvern, oh no, it's a Star Wyvern, inside of Hawk's Nest, and we saw the Star Wyvern before kill NESCardinality too on the overworld.
And it looked like jkoper was trying to possibly advance through Hawk's Nest a little bit, possibly.
Yeah, so it looks like he's going to take that gambling approach with Hurtmore. You never know.
No,
and I wonder if NESCardinality will look at the tile when he goes back through the swamp. I guess it looks like he's going to try to map out the rest of the continent over here.
Yeah, NESCardinality, from what I have watched of his races, NESCardinality certainly values exploration above all else. He'll put off things that he knows, especially something like Hawk's Nest, until he has more of the map explored, when something like Hawk's Nest would be more of a sure thing. So this is, unsurprising for those that follow NESCardinality. Ooh, nice agility at level 8, but that's about it.
Yeah, Nest draws fantastic maps, so he will definitely be able to find everything that's going to be on the world. There's a metal slime. This could be interesting.
Ooh, jkoper finding a blue dragon here in Hawk's Nest. So Hawk's Nest has a Star Wyvern and a blue dragon. That's fun.
Once they get some more hit points, Hawk's Nest could be a very good zone to grind just on its own, regardless of what's on the tile, potentially. But they really just need the hit points to be able to survive an attack from those guys, or find a town where they can get some armor.
Ooh, speaking of armor, the Armored Knight smacks NESCardinality back to start with 1 hit.
But I think so far, every time we've seen the Armored Knight attack, it's always just been a vanilla fight kind of attack. And so if we do end up with an Armored Knight on a tile, with the Hurt More spell and having some hit points, that'll actually be a potentially good grind for them later on in the seed.
Yeah, indeed. Ooh, Wraith Knight, that's a nice enemy to get early. So far, 3 of the enemies here in Hawk's Nest will give some very juicy experience.
Yeah, none of them are likely to, certainly die and hurt more. Wraith Knight, I guess like 3 out of 4 times your hurt more is going to land. Star Wyvern, maybe like 1 out of 4 times you'll kill him with a single hurt more. And the Blue Dragon, unfortunately, you're only 50-50 to land it. You would need 2 at this point, so... And, okay, so it is an Armored Knight on the Hawk's Nest tile. And so that is a winnable fight. And so if the armor did happen to be there, jkoper seems to be kind of pushing and gambling, but it could be a huge payoff, potentially.
Yeah, it could be. Once he gets into that level 7-8 area, he can, as long as the Armored Knight rolls lowish, he can absorb 1 hit and take him out in 2 hurt mores, just like NESCardinality just did to an Armored Knight on the Overworld.
And while the hit points are still abysmally low, at least the magic points are high, and so the players can basically hurt more enemies at will and also still have magic left over to heal after battles, and so this is at least going to give them some capability to walk some distance on the map. jkoper now has found Swamp North, is going to try to walk through it.
Meanwhile, NESCardinality getting to level 9, 1, 5, 2, 10. So again, a nice MP boost here.
And again, a weak hit points boost. Level 9 with 37 hit points is really, really low.
NESCardinality taking out a Goldman, getting some gold in his pocket.
That'll be good in case he finds a town. And yeah, people in the chat are also pointing out the strength is also very low, but at least they have hurt more to compensate, and there have been a number of hurt moreable enemies. So they can survive without the strength for a little while.
jkoper getting to level 7, getting his heal spell. So, we have a town in the swamp here. This is something NESCard hasn't seen yet, and we have Garenham.
Just missed it. It's Garenham. Wow. Sadly, the players don't have keys yet, but there will be a weapon and armor shop as well as the dragon scale that jkoper is going to go ahead and purchase. And I have to imagine he would just go for some armor. The weapon, for the most part, I don't even know that a copper sword would be worth it unless there's just no armor to be had, because Hurtmore is doing all the work right now.
Yeah, personally, I wouldn't even go for a weapon at this point. I mean, there's just no point in it right now. NESCard finding another town. I think that was north of Garenham to be.
Alright, and jkoper, after hemming and hawing, does buy the leather armor. And sees that there's a copper sword available later if he wants it, but I don't know that he'll ever go for that.
NESCardinality with 1,000 gold in hand, finding the town of Cantlin.
This could be huge if there's half-plate armor here. Okay, he sees chainmail and just immediately goes for it. That's a little bit surprising to me. I'm going to be interested to see what he does with the rest of the gold. I guess he wants to take an end trip.
Yeah, I was a little surprised too. I thought, he was down to 1 MP. So I wonder if that played a role in his decision. But, I was expecting him to at least check out the other shop for maybe a half-plate armor, which he could have afforded, or maybe check out for a large shield.
It might be his plan, now that he's refilled on magic, that he's going to stay alive, kill a couple of enemies outside, and try to come back for a large shield in short order. And chainmail plus a large shield and a Hurtmore seed is pretty good armor until you're able to find Ridrix.
Yeah, indeed. And especially, NESCard does know that there are armored knights all over the place here. And a little bit of defense will give him just that little extra staying power so that, even if the AK doesn't roll super low, he can still survive it in theory.
jkoper managed to take out a blue dragon, a green dragon to get level 8, and now has discovered the blue dragon has heal more, and so after the first Hurtmore landed, he manages to land a second. That's another 180 experience. That's a big kill, and he finds the big C and another town.
And this is to the east of where we know Garenham to be. So it looks like there's a whole bunch of stuff here on this second continent.
Indeed.
All right, so what do we have here? Do we have Breckenary? Do we have Rimmeldar? Or do we have... Oh, geez, there's another town right there.
And this one's Cole. Wow, this is so exciting on jkoper's side. He's a little bit behind in experience, but if the armor's here, or if Rimu is the next town over, this could be huge. It's the armor. Wow.
That's big. That is big. And he knows that there is a... Oh, all right, take a look
Armored
here.
Knight.
So over here on NESCard's side, we have the site of the Castle of Tantagel here. So it could be a countable seat if we do need to count.
All right, the other town is Brackenary.
No, I suppose you can't have two good things right back to back, huh?
The armor is really huge, though. With the slow hit points, just being able to constantly heal, not take as much damage, go over the swamps.
And, you know, having Breckenary there is not a bad thing, especially if you wind up having to grind in Charlotte Castle. You know, a nice, quick, easy 6 gold piece in, that's always wonderful. Especially given how it's not far to that in from the start. And we have NESCardinality, I believe, finding the Tablet Cave.
Yep, I think you're right, and right about Breckenary Charlock as well. So yeah, Ness can definitely dark navigate the Tablet Cave. Dangerous for a lot of players, but Ness knows this game as well as anyone, and so there's one chest in here. He's going to bonk his way down and discover some gold. And jkoper is in a long fight with the Metal Slime. Both players have seen multiple Metal Slimes on this seed.
And I believe between them they have totaled something like 2 or 3 hit points taken from them. We do have NESCard now getting up to level 10. Ooh, 0, 0, 3, and 10. Empty Eye loves it.
Wow, the true Empty Eye level. My goodness. The stats are being doled out very slowly on this one. Thank goodness for the hurt more. And at this point, since Garenham is already known, keys have become that much huger because now there's the 3 chests and the basement behind Garenham, and 4 chests and the basement behind Tantagel once players get keys.
Indeed, now we're having jkoper working his way back to the north a little bit, where we know Cantlin and the Tablet Cave to be. But again, as you can see, that Ardrick's armor doing work for Koper, being able to absorb that first attack from an Armored Knight when he can run from a second one.
That's pretty lucky run at 57 agility. Alright, but yeah, despite the low stats, both players managing to take out some Armored Knights, earn experience. Yeah, if you looked at these stats, you would not guess that the players were only 23 minutes in and already getting to level 10. They're doing work.
Yeah, that early hurt more spell was a boon for our runners here.
That coupled with finding all the Armored Knights in that one desert, it seemed like that was just about the most common enemy, and is one of the few that they can take down for a ton of experience.
So NESCard is picking up a hand axe. A little surprised he didn't go for the broadsword, but he does pick up a hand axe. And if NESCard keeps going to the east, he will eventually stumble into Cole and into Breckenary and Charlock.
I imagine, and from NESCard's point of view, that he might just be trying to make sure he preserves large shield money, since that's armor being kind of the top priority, and the hand axe is serviceable enough, probably for most of the game until he gets Erdrick's sword.
Question in chat, what is hurt more in current day Dragon Quest? Is that Cassizzle?
Some kind of big fireball spell, but yeah. I grew up playing Dragon Warrior 1 and played a little bit of 2 and 3, but I don't know the modern games.
Ooh, and Cole does have a silver shield if you can get a gold grind. And NESCard does get his Erdrick's armor.
All right, so his armor came just a couple minutes behind jkoper. And yeah, we're kind of almost back to a dead heat now with experience. And most of the exploration, Ness is about to go to discover where Breckenry is. And jkoper has seen Cantlin. And so it's kind of all on the hunt for either a cave or a molder in order to get a key at this point, it feels like.
Coper did pick up a broadsword in Cantlin. Ooh, NESCard takes out the Metal Slime.
All right, that's a pretty big win, although we're far enough into the seed, especially in a Hurt More seed, where it's not going to be a huge change or kind of like swing as far as the game is going. And it looked like kind of a dead end over there where NESCardinality had gone up to. So I'm not sure if he's kind of like seen this whole portion of the continent or peninsula.
So I believe both of our runners now have pretty much fully explored what we know to be a second continent here. And the second continent is fairly loaded. It has Cole, it has Cantlin, it has Breckenry, Sherlock, and the Tablet Cave.
Yeah, wow. Okay, that was a very profitable continent. And yeah, both players went different directions, but managed to explore it fully pretty much in the same amount of time, it feels like.
Yeah, very much so. So the only thing that's going to be a bit of a pain in the rear here is if the token does happen to be on the overworld coordinates and they have to come back to this continent to get the coordinates and then back to the main continent to count out the coordinates or to... I
can imagine
whatever.
A preemptive princess rescue potentially on both sides, because right now, as they're making sure that they completely explored the continent, I could imagine them kind of going back to Swamp Cave, and then they might want to check what the grind tile is anyway, and if it's anything that's killable, you almost might as well pick up the princess at this point. What do you think?
I think that's certainly a plausible scenario. I think it's going to... I still think it's going to come down to what the coordinates actually are. We'll see how bad they are, because we've had a few seeds lately where the coordinates have been like 2 south and 1 west, and where our runners are just tripping over the items several times in the early game.
That's true, and yeah, given that they've already kind of completed everything that's on the second continent and wouldn't need to come back for anything else other than the silver shield, yeah, maybe waiting to get the what the actual coordinates are does make sense.
Meanwhile, we did have NESCardinality picking up a level 11, 4226. So yet again, strength and HP end up on the side of a milk carton.
Both players using strength HP builds. Hopefully it'll eventually help them at the end of the seed, because at the beginning it's certainly not doing them any favors. The magic is amazing though, so once again, they can still hurt more and heal to their heart's delight.
So it'll be interesting to see if NESCard checks out what's actually in Hawksness here along his way. Looks like he's going to. Or not.
He already has the armor. And like you said, NESCard favors exploration. He knows it's right there near the start. There'll be plenty of opportunities to go in there. It's either the token or the flute. Neither of them is high priority because he's not ready to do anything with either of them. So I can understand that play by NESCard right now.
Meanwhile, we do have jkoper closing in on what we know to be the Tablet Cave.
There's one potential argument in favor of going in there from NESCard's point of view, which is if it is an Axe Knight, given how low the strength and hit points are, I might just grind out 2 levels right there really quick and hope that it helps increase your survivability.
Meanwhile, NESCard has found another cadre of armored knights that he just is taking out with impunity.
Yeah, it's really ironic because we know from jkoper's side that it's an armored knight over in Hawksness, and that would be a good grind, but the overworld is pretty much the equivalent grind, it seems like, on the seed. Armored knights everywhere. Alright, so jkoper has gone into Tablet Cave with a torch, and also discovered the news about the gold that's down there.
Okay, so NESCardinality casting Repel, making his journey a little quicker, a little easier, so hopefully he'll only encounter enemies that he can blast away with a Hurtmore and his measly 98 MP. Of course, a golem, not one of those.
Yeah, golem is pretty good. We haven't seen a red dragon or a wizard. Those are the only other two. I guess the blue dragon, jkoper managed to take one out. Given that they have heal, they're not awful, but those are, I guess, the main enemies you don't want to see right now. A stone man they could just put to sleep and run away very easily.
And we have NESCardinality closing in on another cave. Let's see what we have here. I've got a bunch of caves still left to be found. Oh, and NESCard whiffs on a Hurtmore to a Wraith Knight.
Yeah, I think they have 3 out of 16 resistance, and so that's going to happen every so often. Both players are closing in on level 12 at this point. I think jkoper is probably going to get there first, but there's the Dirt Cave on Ness's side.
Yep, 3 out of 16 resistance on the Wraith Knight. Our wonderful tracker Zarnax popping up that data. Or possibly our wonderful restreamer Lord of the Synth. Either one of those have certainly control to pop up those things, and we appreciate them both. And level 12, 6823. So at least there's some strength, maybe? Kind of.
That's a good way to put it. The good news is, again, despite the low stats, the players aren't having any trouble, and eventually they're going to have a Armored Knight grind that's in a Hawk's Nest that's only like 2 screens away from Tanager, and Armored Knights take a lot of magic points, but that's the one thing they do have a lot of. And so if they have to grind out extra levels, it will definitely be doable.
Yeah, very true. Is that there are some quick grind options available to our runners here. And we do have jkoper. Looks like he is going to go take care of that Armored Knight, knowing that now he can with relative ease.
And yeah, up to NG points out in the chat, they can almost survive a Dragon Lord 2 Breath wearing Erdrick's armor. We're at level 12, and they could still be one-shot by any random enemy that happens to have Dragon Lord 2 Breath.
Yeah, casual. That happens all the time in these seeds, right? Oh my god. Alright, so let's see what we have here in Hawk's Nest. So, Koper should be able to take down this Armored Knight. And NESCard has found the mountain cave.
There was nothing on the Hawk's Nest tile. And so, Cantland coordinates, if they have the token, we definitely could be searching on this one. We'll see.
Or, well, nothing on that swamp tile, nothing on that trap tile means that now we know that either the flute or the token will be in a chest. Question is, which one will it be? Or could it be both?
Could be both, yeah.
And we haven't seen a cursed belt yet, so both being in a chest is still in the realm of possibility.
But with the chest that Ness is likely to get out of Mountain Cave, we're probably going to get a bit more information in the very short term here.
As long as level 2 of the Mountain Cave here doesn't hold anything stupid, we should be good.
And level 2 of the mountain cave is the same as level 1 of Garen's tomb. I don't remember what enemies Ness saw. jkoper, I remember, didn't see any walking over to the top. There's the metal slime, and so it's probably the same zone. Well, I'm not sure if it's the same zone as one of the overworld zones. Oh, magic key. Okay, that's a big deal on Ness's side. So with that single key, as we mentioned before, now 7 more chests have become available, and actually probably 12 more chests, because Garen's tomb is probably either underneath Tanagel Castle or underneath Garenham. So, and yeah, there's a reason now that Ness will have to go back to the second continent, is to open the chests in Garenham.
Mm-hmm. Well, we've already seen Garen's grave. Garen's grave is just north of Tanagel Castle, just south of...
right.
So
Okay.
so I believe what we haven't seen is
Harp Cave and Sunstones?
Yep, correct. That's exactly what I was just going to say.
All right, yeah, so they have to be in the 2 basements. And since they haven't found the harp yet, there's no rush, I guess, to go to either of those locations right now. Although one of the basements could hold the harp, and the other basement could be where you have to turn it in. So we'll see what the rest of Mountain Cave holds.
Now, is Ness going to walk out of here, or is he going to death warp?
He does know of that existence of a silver shield. He doesn't know for sure if there's a gold grind in Tanagel. I feel like we already have seen a few gold chests. I haven't kept count.
I think we've seen 3, is what I want to say off the top of my head.
Yes, that makes it pretty unlikely, and we've already had the Death Necklace chest that was in the throne room, so we couldn't even grind that. So there's a decent possibility that there's not going to be a gold grind in the seed from the looks of things. Maybe 50-50.
Although NESCardinality is taking a death warp here to go back, and we do have jkoper making his way over to the area where we know the mountain cave to be, although, you know, taking care of some of these enemies around along his way. He's actually going to get to level 13 in relatively short order. As is NESCardinality, right now the experience difference is basically 1 armored knight.
Alright, so Ness is buying up his keys, and we'll get the answer to a couple of our questions now in short order. 1, is there gold in the Tanagel treasury? And 2, what is underneath? Is it Harp Cave or is it Sunstone's Cave?
I mean, ideally, he finds the silver harp here, and then... Oh, we have the fighter's ring. So that was a key chest. That was a key chest, or an herb, I suppose. Oh, and it's the sword!
That's a nice find. It's not the gold that he wanted. Erdrick's sword is definitely going to be useful by the very end of the game, but I feel like the gold and the shield, given their low hit points, might have been more valuable, and so we'll see if Sunstone's Cave is down here and can give us 1 more chance.
Alright, so what do we have here? We have a bamboo pole, which is... wings? Is that wings? I think it was wings. So we know now that... So, the quote-unquote... Well, not necessarily, because we still do have the 2 chests in the bottom of the grave to look at. Although,
right, and the harp might be one of those, and we just saw Sunstone's Cave in the bottom of Tanagel. Is this even rando?
So it's entirely possible that we have the silver harp in the back of Garenham, and we know that the Shrine Cave has to be underneath Garenham. Although, you know, the basement of the grave of Garen could have the harp. This is getting interesting.
But yeah, thinking more about the map, it seems like you just kind of like go in this one direction. If you go to the end of the continent, you get to the mountain cave over here once you pass Hawks. And if you go in the other direction, you get the swamp cave where we kind of found everything. It was a relatively straightforward map. It feels. Did jkoper miss mountain cave there? What just happened?
I think he missed mountain cave.
Okay.
And
put commentator's curse on him, or he might just be refilling his magic points.
We did have jkoper getting to level 13, which was a 4, 7, 12, 7 level. So, they finally get some HP at level 13 and a little bit more strength.
But yeah, both of those stats are still pretty low for this stage of the game. The good news is, level 13, we're less than 40 minutes in. The seed is still moving at a reasonable pace, even if the stats aren't. And the silver harp is one of the items in the back of Garenham. NESCardinality has picked it up and will be able to very quickly hand it in, since we know that the Staff of Ring Cave is going to be right back here.
And we did find the flute in the back of Garenham as well, so we know the flute isn't going to be on the overworld, so if we do have an overworld item, it is going to be a token, if we do.
Right, and if not, then that means there's a token and a cursed belt as the last 2 chests in the bottom of Garen's tomb, and the odds of that, I don't know, conditional probability escapes me.
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be a cursed belt in the bottom of the grave. I mean, the cursed belts can be in Sharlock. Oh, Zarnak's reminding us, unless the token is in Rimmeldar, because we do forget Rimmeldar exists sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Have we seen Rimmeldar yet?
No, I don't think so. And Ness, if the token does end up on the overworld, Ness won't care that he hasn't seen Rimmeldar. From jkoper's point of view, either Rimmeldar or Mountain Cave, either one is going to get him the key. And in the Mountain Cave, other than the gold grind possibility, was there anything valuable in there?
23 south, 31 east. Oh, those are some interesting coordinates.
I think Ness did, like you said, see the castle from across the way, and so if he kind of remembers where that is and had it on his map, he might just be able to count it by walking across and then looking on the screen. We'll see what he does. Meanwhile, jkoper is headed back over in the direction that we know Mountain Cave is.
Interesting to note, we haven't seen a large shield yet in this seed. I'm pretty sure we haven't seen one.
Well, the Remolder shop could definitely still have it, so that could be a reason that NESCardinality does want to find Remolder. But yes, look, he's made his way over there. He sees Tangential Castle on the screen, and now from the second continent, he's doing his count.
This is going to be interesting, though, because
I'm sure he's got a good map drawn, and so he knows kind of exactly what way he has to take around the continent to get there, so I have great confidence that he's going to get it on the first try. And yeah, he's going west, but I think he's going to circle back to the east. I think he just knows that he has to circle around this way, because the very bottom of this continent went way across.
Yep. And he's accounting.
Yeah, it's so funny because I'm just like riveted on his screen. And meanwhile, jkoper's making his way through the Mountain Cave. He's gonna find out all the things that are in here, get his key in just a moment. First try.
Jeez. First try. Look at that. Jeez. That is pretty much an exhibition in how to count coordinates.
Yeah, Ness is really good at it, and he's good at doing it. He walks faster than most people when they're walking to count the coordinates. Obviously, he can, dark nav tablet cave and is very good at frame perfect inputs. And so he's just got a very, very fine sense of all the movement in this game.
Alright, so now the only thing NESCardinality needs to do is turn in his stuff for the rainbow drop, but he is pretty much in grind and go mode, and he's going to check out Hawk's Nest. I don't think he's seen the Armored Knight here, but he's going to be very happy when he does. Meanwhile, we do have NESCard getting to level 13, and we do have jkoper finishing a grave clear.
I think you meant a mountain cave clear.
Yeah, 6-1, half dozen of the other.
Yeah, so jkoper has his first key. And so now he'll be able to go do all these things. NESCardinality, this is a good grind. It is in a good location. Would he go and check Swamp Cave just in case it's an Axe Knight and happens to be better? I'm not sure that it would be better. Just it's not that much farther to walk.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I would just stay here and grind on the Armored Knight. I mean, yeah, it's a little resource intensive, but with Tantagel right there, all you Death Warp is simple against an Armored Knight. You just do it.
Here's my one concern. They're already at level 13. It's going to start becoming more and more experience between levels. And given where the strength is right now, like this is looking at like one of those like level 18 kind of seats before they're going to have the stats that they need. And so if there is a more efficient grind, there's going to be so much grinding to do. I worry. That's all I'm thinking.
Meanwhile, we do have a Rimmeldar sighting here on jkoper's side. Looks to be on the first continent, somewhere in the area or vicinity of the mountain cave.
And is there going to be a large shield here? That is the thing I want to know the most, because this is the one thing that could give jkoper an advantage that Ness doesn't have. Otherwise, he's a bit behind in terms of exploration and getting the homework done. So we'll see what this shop holds.
Ooh, and there is a large shield.
So that could be a big deal. So large shield now owned by jkoper could give him an advantage because, again, with as low as the hit points are, the defense, well, by the time they get enough strength and hit points, their agility is probably going to be like through the roof. Just assuming a normal stat progression. Obviously, we don't have a normal stat progression in the seed, so who knows? Armored Knights do give a lot of gold. If there is a huge grind from 13 to 18 and you have to kill hundreds of Armored Knights while NESCardinality just took a death, you could potentially like earn 14,000 gold the hard way.
Yeah, with the death warps you would need though. I mean,
you'd have to walk back to the castle.
Yeah.
Return. Well, you could just, it does cost a bit of time. Yuck.
Right, exactly. Yeah, yuck. Yeah, there really is no good.
Yeah, so I think on Ness's side, he's just going to gamble that if he does need 5 levels, he's going to get so much agility that the lack of a shield isn't going to hold him back. But he is checking the Swamp Cave. I think he's going to see if there's an Axe Knight here. Or, maybe there's a red dragon with hurt or something like that. Although, with the strength as low as it is, I'm not even sure that a red dragon with hurt could be a good thing.
Well, I mean, it would at least be killable. It would take a while, but it would be killable.
Right. Yeah, I mean, unless it's faster than the Armored Knight. Is the only thing I was thinking, but it seems like, given their strength, an Axe Knight that can be hurt more than a single hurt more is the only thing that could be better. And it looks like it is the Red Dragon. It's the first Red Dragon we've seen in the seed. So NESCardinality will at least learn what their capabilities are. They have Stop Spell, so they might also have Hurt More. Or Breath.
So far, what we've seen is a 50% probability so far.
Ness very cleverly used a heal rather than a heal more, not as in this menu, but because he has so few hit points that the heal more wouldn't have mattered in that instance.
Oh, yeah, that's either 50% or 25% stop spell.
All right, jkoper just cleared out the treasury, which means he would have just picked up Erdrick's sword. Was it in there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was the last thing in there. And so he has to go back to Garenham to get the harp, immediately trade it in the back, and then visit the jerk, and then he's going to have all the things as well. And yeah, it looks like this is going to be a grind and go with the does Ness try to find a shield before the end of it? Question mark.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah. So now jkoper is probably going to make his way over to the second continent, go get his final things, and away we go.
Terrifying. NESCardinality plays the fairy flute. I think the death necklace is next to the fairy flute in his inventory right now as the 3 and 4 item slots, and that would be a costly miss menu. He'd have to walk all the way to Breckenry in order to take it off if he accidentally puts on the death necklace. And from jkoper's point of view, he has all the information now, right? Yeah, he has all the information because he's seen Remolder, and Ness has all the information except Remolder.
Well, Koper still needs to get the coordinates from Catlin and still needs to count out his token.
Oh, right. Zarnax pointing out the chat. It wouldn't be terrible to put on the death necklace. You'd only lose 14 HP. Can't lose that many hit points when you never had that many hit points.
Insert the
jkoper is also taking a peek at the trap tile here in the swamp. Alright, so since we've already found Erdrick's sword, put your guesses in the chat. At what level do you think the players are going to try to dive Sharlock? Guess now. You only have 20 minutes to get your guess in. And from Z-Man's point of view, from jkoper's point of view, I have to imagine he's kind of like the same thing as Ness. He's going to fight this one red dragon. He's going to try to kill it to go ahead and get the experience from it and just get off of the tile. Once he kills it, since he knows he needs the coordinates, he might pick up the princess here too. But then I think he might outside just so he doesn't have to fight the red dragon again. It'll be interesting to see what he does here.
2183 and dispel. We don't care about it. Level 14.
But I think if I were Koper right now, after defeating the red dragon, I'd pick up the princess, I'd outside, walk the princess to Cantlin, see what the coordinates are, and then decide if I want to return the princess to the castle or not. But we're at that point now. We're almost a dead heat for experience right now at 52 minutes. But Ness is in grind and go, and jkoper still has a bit of homework to do, so he's going to fall pretty far behind on experience before he settles into a grind, I expect.
Yeah, indeed. And he is going to go pick up the princess, but I'm not so sure I like this play here. He only has 8 HP left. Oh, but he does have enough for an outside cast. Okay, we're good. Never mind.
And I think he also has wings in his inventory, so if he wants to go get his magic back at the castle, he might just drop off the princess immediately. In which case, since the coordinates actually lead to the second continent, he could end up saving himself some time if he drops off the princess now. He doesn't know that. It's kind of a gamble either way. But he is using his wings. I think he's going to drop the princess back off, refill his magic, and hope that the coordinates are going to be near Cantlin, and he's going to be happy with that result.
Yeah, he's going to be very happy with that result. So this is absolutely a time-saving measure for Koper here.
And yeah, it's just interesting to see how these seeds play out. Like, every kind of step was individually correct decisions for both players, even though they made different decisions just based on the order that they discovered different things. And yeah, that's good. It's going to work out in jkoper's favor and keep things from getting too far away in terms of the experience differential.
Yeah. I mean, if I had to say that there's one major quote-unquote difference in these two, it was Koper's return to the castle to refill his MP before seeing the mountain cave. And I believe he wasn't far from the mountain cave when he did that.
Yeah,
so that's probably the only major difference between these two runners.
Right. That said, that might have cost I don't know, 3 minutes or something. jkoper, as a result of having more magic and being able to explore and find Remolder as well as the Routen Cave over there, does have the advantage of the large shield. So if the agility stays low and the strength and hit points pick up quickly, that could turn into more of an advantage for jkoper at the end. But right now, just given how incredibly low the strength is, that seems unlikely to me.
Yeah, this is certainly feeling like a minimum level 18 seed. So what we've got, we only got about 10,000 experience to go before we get there. So 10,000 experience divided by 172, that's what? I don't know. Is it 50? Is it 50?
Looking at all the guesses in the chat, it seemed like around 18 was probably the average, although skewed by some people saying silly things like 30 and 42.
So, doing the quick math, that is 59 armored knights. 59 armored knights on the wall. 59 armored knights. Hurt more one down, passing around.
All right, keep going. This is going to be a great song to carry us for the next hour, Z-Man.
No, I'm good, thanks.
Looking ahead to the future, the winner of this race... Oh, RPG Limit Break is rating us. Hello, and welcome, Raiders, to a match of low stats.
And I hope everybody enjoyed the Final Fantasy IV Highway to the Zemus Zone race that you guys were watching. Welcome to this Dragon Warrior Randomizer seed between two very good Dragon Warrior Randomizer players, NESCardinality and jkoper. A quick recap of the seed gives, well, they pretty much know everything they need to know, and, well, the stats suck.
Yeah, strength and especially hit points. Hit points have picked up a bit in the last few levels, but these players were at like level 10 and 11 with 40-something hit points. Despite that, they were kind of flying through the seed. They had Hurtmore come at a somewhat early level, like level 5 or something. I don't remember exactly when it came. And use that to just kind of slaughter most of the enemies on the seed, and two very good players just kind of carving their way through this one. Relatively straightforward map, and at this point, NESCardinality has a head start on the grind and therefore an experience advantage, but jkoper was the only one who managed to find the town of Remolder, which was the only place selling a large shield, and so he has a bit of an armor advantage right now.
Yeah, that's pretty well great little catch-up here. We do have NESCardinality, one more Armored Knight, or the Star Wyvern will get him to level 15. Let's see if level 15 gives us anything useful. What do we have here? We have 7 power to, 13. 7, 2, 13, 3. Take that and run.
Yeah, a 7 and a 13, that's probably the biggest strength hit point combo they've had the entire seed. So hopefully things will continue to get nicer. But yeah, still going to be grinding for a bit. And as I was starting to say right before the raid, I believe the winner of this match will go on to face Ryguy in the brackets. Ryguy defeated me earlier in the Swiss round, so he is definitely going to be another formidable opponent. Although honestly, at this point, even with 32 players going into the brackets, pretty much just about everybody who is left is going to be formidable opponents. We're going to have lots of good matches to go over the weeks to come.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I see someone in the chat asking if jkoper got his coordinates. I didn't actually notice, but the fact that he's using Gwaelin's Love right now suggests to me that the answer is yes. And he's only steps away from the token. And so having pre-rescued the princess definitely saved him time, which is good because he's a little bit behind in terms of Ness. But at this point, if he immediately goes and gets his rainbow drop, he's only going to be 2,000 experience, maybe not even quite that much behind NESCardinality.
Yeah, it'll be right about there. Question in chat, no double elimination? No, it is not double elimination, but once you get to the semifinals, it is best 2 out of 3.
And it seems jkoper remembers exactly where he needs to go in order to visit the jerk. And so it was around minute 52 when the players were even in experience, but jkoper was still trying to go grab the token, whereas Ness had already settled into his grind. And so by the time jkoper returns to it, it's probably going to be about an hour or two, so it was probably like 10 minutes of full-on grinding that Ness potentially managed to get ahead here. And so, especially against NESCardinality, who's excellent at menuing and, just on the repeated grind tile, hurt more, step off the tile, step back on. It's going to be hard to catch back up to Ness on this one, so we might need kind of like a questionable level to decide things. We'll see.
Yep, indeed. Indeed.
But yeah, Lord of the Synth in the chat actually points out it's basically one failed Charlock dive apart. Are there enemies in Charlock that we have not seen yet on this map? Have we seen a Stone Man?
I don't think we've seen a Stone Man. I don't think we've seen a Wizard. I don't think we've seen a Werewolf.
I vaguely feel like I might have seen a Wizard, but someone else is asking about the Wizard as well, so maybe that was a previous match that I was remembering. So there are still some potential question marks inside Charlock. Obviously, if one of those enemies has the Wombo combo, like at any point that could surprise someone, and especially the Stone Man, if we haven't seen one, it could be the Spike Tile, the mini-boss right before the Dragon Lord. So those are definitely some still potential points of unexpected randomness that could bring something to bear late in the seed. But for now, it looks like jkoper is about to go settle into his grind.
In chat, somebody mentions we haven't seen Dragon Lord 2 Breath. Yes, we have once. I believe it is the Demon Knight that have the Wombo combo. They have Sleep and Dragon Lord 2 Breath, I do believe.
So it's interesting to note, if Ness is 2,000 experience ahead, and it doesn't seem like level 16, or necessarily even 17, is going to be likely to be enough stats to try to dive for the Dragon Lord and win, then basically they're going to be less than one level apart at like 2,000 experience apart by the time, presumably, Ness starts diving Charlock a little bit ahead of jkoper. So yeah, this definitely still has a potential for a close finish, depending upon how things go.
It looks like Koper is going for a Red Dragon grind. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't understand with the low strength. Even if they are very stop spell happy, it seems like it's too many rounds of combat. The main advantage is potentially that you don't have to run out of magic points as often, but magic points are the one thing that they have a plethora of. And like we pointed out, Hawksnest was very close to Tanagal, and so the Death Warp is a potential good thing going on there too. This will be an interesting thing to ask jkoper about at the end of the match.
And we still don't know if the Red Dragon may even have something up their sleeve besides the stop spell. I mean, they could still have Dragon Lord 2 Breath, or Hurt More, or Hurt, or Sleep, or something along those lines.
Can't have Sleep, because Stop Spell and Sleep are both the utility spell slot. They could have Hurt More, Dragon Lord Breath, or the Weak Breath as their possible complement to the Stop Spell. Yeah, Heal More is a utility spell, and so Stop Spell, Heal More, Heal, and Sleep are all exclusive to one another. You can only have one of those four. Oh yeah, but if our tracker or restreamer can pull up the Red Dragon stats, we could find out for sure.
Yep, and it is a 50% stop spell.
So the one thing that could turn this around for jkoper is suppose level 16 came in with a huge amount of strength, but still very low hit points. That could potentially swing this in favor of the red dragon being a good grind, but it seems unlikely.
Well, how does 13 strength and 1 HP strike you?
I was not looking at Nessa's screen, and so I just completely missed that, and then just saw people scrolling by in the chat. Okay. Let's see, with 114 attack power, you're still not even 3-shotting the red dragon, though. Right? I feel like it's still going to be like four strikes.
I suppose if you get 3 high rolls, you could 3-shot them.
Yeah, the Death Warp is just not that costly on the Armored Knight, it feels like.
Yeah, I agree that. Well, we'll see what happens here. I mean, right now, jkoper seems to be at least level. You know, I don't think this is any slower than the Armored Knight grind. I think right now, because the lead seems to be right around, you know, the same 2,000, 2,500.
Yeah, somewhere in that range. So we'll keep an eye on exactly the differential in the experience here. It'll be very interesting for me to see. I feel like it's a little bit farther of a walk to Hawk's Nest, and then once you get into Hawk's Nest, you also have to walk over to the tile, and you're going to get encounters all along the way. Yeah, I don't know. It might be a closer grind than I thought, but I still feel like my gut tells me the AK is still the better grind.
That's what my gut tells me too, and you know, I have a fairly large gut, so I usually tend to follow it. But yeah, I do think the AK is going to be a bit of a quicker grind.
Here's another question. We just had a big strength gain without the hit points. Suppose that happens again. They have a decent amount of magic. Usually you don't want to go to the Dragon Lord before 97 hit points. But if they end up getting a lot of strength, and even on Ness's side, Ness still without a shield though, the agility. The low hit points,
yeah.
This could really... jkoper might be able to do it a level lower than NESCardinality, just because jkoper might be able to go at 97 hit points and Ness can't, if it comes to something like that.
Right, yeah, because you know, with the defensive power you're looking for so that the Dragon Lord does the same damage, be it attack or breath, is, I believe it's 86, or 82 or 86. I think it's 86.
It's 86, yeah. And so jkoper has an 8 advantage in defense points, and Ness would need, to get to 86, Ness would need another 32 agility without a shield to get up to that level. And so if the hit points continue to stay low, and Ness doesn't come up with amazing agility in the next 2 levels, or wherever the strength might get us to, that large shield could end up being the difference in the match. This actually could be really interesting.
Yeah, it could be. Because jkoper, all he needs, quote unquote, all he needs is 16 more agility in his next 4 levels to get to that magic 86 number. But even a number of
4 coming at the next level. So yeah. Right. And 2 6s, that's plausible. This plausible.
It doesn't even need to be 2 6s, right? Because at what point does he do 49 damage? I think it's a defense power of 82, right? That he does 4 damage.
Right. That's a good point. Yeah.
Right.
But, it's just if again, it depends on what the hit points do. If all of a sudden they get a 20 hit point level or whatever, then all of the speculation will go out the window. But if they don't, like when you go from 97 hit points fighting the Dragon Lord to 96, 95, 94, the odds rapidly start going down, and the less defense you have, the more rapidly they're going to be going down. So this will be really close.
Now we are talking. Let's put it in perspective here. We are talking about a scenario that is unlikely at best to occur, but it's plausible.
Yep. So, given that we spent all the time talking through that, I feel like the moral equivalent to RNG stat commentator curse means that they're going to get, 3 strength and 70 hit points on the next level or something.
Yeah, incoming ungodly amount of hit points. Watch the next level be 0 strength and, like you said, something like 70 hit points. All right, well, we're putting the death necklace on and we're going.
And I guess the other thing to point out also is that even though the few hit points and the few defense could make a difference, it's also kind of high variance stuff. And if you get good heal mores and heal back up to your max all the time, that might end up mattering more than if you happen to get a low roll on a heal more and end up having to double heal more. Because the magic points, they're good, but they're not super awesome, especially if the strength is just trickling up to where it's going to be good enough.
So
yeah, I don't know. It's probably too early to speculate any further about this.
But we do have an interesting development on jkoper's side. jkoper took a death and refilled everything, went back to the swamp cave, and died to the first red dragon he faced. So he just put himself back even another couple minutes and another couple hundred out of experience points. This experience point gap is now expanding. jkoper right now at 9,000. And NESCardinality about to make it 2,500. A solid 2,500.
Yep, and so that is interesting. It's also noteworthy that up until then happened, jkoper had been keeping pace because it had been about 2,200 before. And so, yeah, turns out the red dragon is a closer grind than we thought, and jkoper is also 3 red dragons away from getting this big strength upgrade, which might speed up his red dragon fights moving forward. And so there's still the chance that this extra 13 strength, and I can't immediately just do the math in my head, is going to change it from an average of 4 swings to an average of 3 swings, or an average of 5 swings to an average of 4 swings, or whatever it is, and might start making a difference. So it looks like, unless level 17 comes in big in just a moment here for Ness, we will be able to continue to see how these two competing grind benchmarks compare to one another. And yeah, someone's pointed out in the chat also that the grind on the red dragon is more favorable to jkoper than Ness because jkoper has the shield and the extra 8 defense points too. He can withstand the bites a little bit better.
And jkoper is being very aggressive here with these red dragons, just swinging on one in the red twice. So he's not messing around here, jkoper. He's going for it. What do we have here for NESCard? 2, 1, 0, 1. Game, we need to have a discussion here. That was just rude, okay? That was just rude.
So yeah, I guess the good news for jkoper is there weren't more hit points, and the good news for NESCardinality is there wasn't more strength. And the good news for the viewers is it means you've got another 20 minutes to watch.
How rude.
I haven't been paying attention. I feel like at the Armored Knight grind with all this magic points, and since it seems like the red dragon is pretty common, feels like about 4 minutes would get you the next level each time for the levels that we're at right now. And so, let's see, we're at 113 now. I expect by 118, NESCardinality is going to get to 14,250 to check out the stats for level 18. Ness doing a little bit of walking on the desert tiles. Remember that there were 3 good hurt-morable enemies in the Hawksness Overworld grind. Hawksness Overworld, I don't know how to describe it. Unfortunately, he ran into the Blue Dragon, which I think is kind of an unfavorable one, but since he only has 7 magic points left, it looks like he was trying to land 1 hurt more on a Star Wyvern just to get 1 more kill before he takes his Death Warp, is what I think he was doing there.
That Blue Dragon with heal, that's rude.
I feel like we saw that before on jkoper's side. He did hurt more, it healed, And so he was able to hurt Mort again. And so he got 180 experience, like right around the time when he had like 400 experience or something. And so it was a big deal kill right near the beginning of the game for him. And I think that's maybe the only other time we saw a Blue Dragon heal.
jkoper with this Red Dragon grind is keeping pace here with NESCardinality for the most part. So, maybe the criticism of this grind wasn't really all that on point. It does look like that Koper is keeping up. I mean, because right now the experience gap is 2,000, almost on the dot. So he's keeping pace here.
Yeah, Ness did just take a quote-unquote intrepid death warp. And jkoper's got 37 more magic points before he'll need to do a similar kind of thing. It seems like the walking distance is about equal, getting either over to the Swamp Cave or up to Hawksness. And yeah, like I said, if the strength, again, if we have another level like a couple levels ago, where the strength is big and hit points are still small, this could swing in jkoper's favor and really tighten up the experience. If it goes the other way, could continue to favor NESCardinality, holding on to his lead. But yeah, honestly, when jkoper walked over to the swamp, I did not expect this outcome. So this is more interesting than I thought it was going to be.
Question in chat, do we know the stop spell percentage on the Red Dragons? We do indeed. It is a 50% chance. So, and, from everything I've seen from jkoper's grind here, it's certainly, falling out that way, that it is just about 50%. And not a Dragon Warrior 50% stop spell where he casts it like 1 in every 10 turns.
Do you recall the one time Ness fought the Red Dragon when he just took a peek going through Swamp Cave? Do you recall if he saw 1 or 0 stop spells? I feel like he saw 1.
I know he saw 1. I'm not sure if he saw 2, but I know he saw 1.
Okay. Because, yeah, I've written it down as an interview question to ask Ness at the end, as if he gave any thought to the Red Dragon with stop spell as potential grind tile versus the Armored Knight.
And then Zarnax following that up with, would he have considered it if he had a large or a silver shield, or really any shield?
I feel like from Ness's point of view now, he can't switch back over there, because for all he knows, the stop spell could only be 25%. He doesn't have a large enough sample size to know. And the Red Dragon doesn't seem like it can be favorable to him with the low defense. And if it was only 25% stop spell, and he doesn't know if it might have a 25%, Dragon Lord 2 Breath or something that he just didn't get a chance to see before. Whereas jkoper is settled into the grind, he knows exactly what he's facing, and he knows that it's a viable grind. So I don't see Ness changing his grind. I don't see jkoper changing his grind at this point either. So it's just a matter of when the seed is finally going to dole out some stats.
And it looks like both of our racers are going to be, quote-unquote, going home right about the same time and heading back to their grind right about the same time, with jkoper most certainly having cut into the lead somewhat.
Yeah, truly unexpected in my opinion. But yeah, it's definitely the case that jkoper is able to stay out and kill for a longer period of time, even with 100 and whatever magic points that they have. That's still only 10 Armored Knights that you can kill before you run out of magic, whereas jkoper is able to just outlast more Red Dragons, occasionally heal mooring, and the Red Dragons are giving 255 apiece, and the Armored Knights are only giving 172 experience apiece, and so those little combinations all of a sudden are starting to put a dent in Ness's lead.
So really now the question becomes, if jkoper can continue to chip away at Ness's lead, the sooner they get the stats they need, the better it'll be for NESCardinality. The longer they take to get their stats, it's going to favor jkoper.
And again, if the stats come in with very borderline hit points, that also puts a little bit of favoritism back in jkoper's because of the shield issue. Yeah, this is... We're going to get the chance to see NEScardinality in just a moment what level 18 is going to give us. This is what a lot of the chat was guessing was going to be the level back 20 minutes ago.
And something else to kind of keep in mind, I'll bring up that topic after we see here, level 18 for NESCardinality. What do we have? We have 21 power, hello, 14 agility, hello, but not enough
5
HP.
Hit points. Oh my gosh.
This is only going to... Go ahead.
It's just impossible to win with 83 hit points. I saw Mr. Holmes do it once with, I forget if it was 89 or 91, with like insane other stats. 83s, it's just totally impossible.
So this actually is only going to help jkoper out even more, that insane strength gain. He's going to be able now to consistently 3-hit the red dragons. This is really favoring jkoper at this point. Because right now, jkoper is back on the grind, and they are 1,400 experience points apart.
Yeah, I think at the rate this is going, it depends on if jkoper can get to level 19 before he has to do another death warp, which I'm not sure that he's going to be able to do. But if he could, I think it's going to be almost a complete dead heat when they both reach level 19. But I think jkoper, well, I'm not sure, but I think he's going to come up just short. Yeah, I don't know. We'll just have to see over the next 4 minutes or so as this evolves.
And it's also something else to kind of sort of keep in mind. Two things. Number one, that agility gain that jkoper is going to see at level 18 is going to put him past that defensive power of 86 needed. So the Dragon Lord isn't
also we haven't seen inside Charlock. He'll also be able to defensive break a few of the enemies inside Charlock. Ness won't be able to. So if there are some, like wizards that have sleep that we haven't seen before, that might bash Ness for a few hit points that jkoper will just be able to walk right off, that's another thing that could be a difference. Yeah, it's just, once again, there's just a bunch of unknowns that we don't know about the seed. And yeah, this is kind of, what we expected at the beginning of this match. We've got two high-level players. Both of them have made different choices, but they've both proven to be very valid ways to go ahead and play. I can't really fault either of them for their decision-making, and it looks like it's going to come close, and it might come down to RNG. We'll just have to see.
And and of course, this fight, I believe, is going to leave jkoper 15 experience short of level 18. But it's something else to kind of keep in mind here. If they do get level 19 approximately at equal times, jkoper has the advantage of already being halfway to Shardlock by being in the Swamp Cave.
Oh, I never thought about that. Once you get out of the Swamp Cave, how far was it to a town? Like, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to kill... I guess he needs 9 more red dragons to get to the next level. And
as far as the town goes, Garenham was 1 screen away from...
Okay, it was that close? I couldn't remember.
Yeah, it was that close. It was maybe a screen and a half away from the Swamp Cave on the way to Charlock.
Yeah, so I feel like that's only... I don't know, 30 seconds of an advantage, but it is an advantage, and if we have a dead heat, this is going to be
30
really
seconds is a floor or two of Charlock. I mean, this match is insanely close at this point in time. And jkoper just gets his level 18, and now he's just going to go banging away at these red dragons.
I'm fairly certain jkoper got the drop. I saw him walking over to where the jerk cave was after he had picked up the other things. I see people kind of like second guessing it.
Yeah. No, he got it. He definitely got the drop. The experience gap is close to 1,000 points. Well, all right, now it's 1,200. But now it's 900. jkoper is steadily making progress at this point in time. they're going. I think you even said it before. They're going to hit level 19 within a minute of each other, tops.
And that said, we don't know if level 19 is going to be the level. Imagine if it's not. Imagine if it's another 0 hit point and the game continues to troll us. Then jkoper, I want to say takes the lead, but he'll have to take an in trip.
I would say he still needs another trip. So, but if it does have to go to level 20, I'm thinking that, or level, because level 19 is next. If it does have to go to 20, I would say jkoper would probably be in the lead.
It's so fun because on the one hand, it's been kind of a slow seed for the last half hour, just been watching the players grind. But on the other hand, the way that the stats have evolved and the speculation about the differences that the players have in terms of their advantages and their sets of grinds has just been really interesting for me. And I'm enjoying this match even more than I thought I would. And I really thought I was going to enjoy this match coming into this race.
All right, here we go. Level 19 on NESCardinality side. We have 15 more power, 2, 5, and 2. Can he do it with that power and 88 HP? I don't think so.
At 152 attack power, you hit the Dragon Lord for 13 to 26. That's an average of almost 20. 8 hits is likely to destroy the Dragon Lord, and you have 14 heal mores potentially available if you could make it all the way down to the bottom with all of your heal mores. But you would have to heal more every other time, or heal more twice in a row if the dragon breaths you, or take a ridiculous risk.
This is so close. Now, I think jkoper is going to have more of a decision here than NESCardinality does, because NESCardinality just doesn't have the defense. I mean, the NESCardinality, the Dragon Lord, is still swinging for 50 against him. jkoper, the Dragon Lord, is going to swing for
jkoper
48.
is defense breaking some of the enemies in Charlock. He could potentially dive and grind and try to get level 20 while he is going through Charlock. Which is something that NESCardinality probably would not be able to do. jkoper is moving forward onto the second continent now. This will be another question that we potentially have to ask him. Oh, yeah, NESCardinality also has switched. I
wonder if NESCardinality is going to do a dive and grind. Or is he going to go to the Red Dragon now that he has so much strength?
And question in the chat, Mel Ridger says Ness has no shield. There was a large shield only in Remolder, and Remolder is the one location that NESCardinality did not find. And there was no gold grind to get a silver shield.
Oh, and NESCardinality is taking on the Red Dragons. He is doing a Red Dragon grind. This is big.
Yeah, so smart. He remembered that the Red Dragon was there. He saw the huge strength. He realizes that he's going to be potentially two-shotting some of these Red Dragons. And at 255, two-shotting Red Dragon, it's better than two-shotting an Armored Knight for 172. Furthermore, you don't have to use up all your magic points nearly as quickly. He thinks he has to grind another level. He knows he can't do it in Charlotte because he's not defense-breaking anybody. So he's going to grind the Red Dragons here. It's going to cost him probably another 3 or 4 minutes. He's starting around 128. Meanwhile, jkoper probably has to get a level on the way down, and since it's 3,000 experience now, that's going to be hard to do. He has to hope for a kind spike tile mini-boss in front of the Dragon Lord, I think. Someone that he can defense break. Is he even defense breaking the Axe Knight at this point? I'm not sure that jkoper can do this.
And he's not fighting on the way down. I mean, he had 2 enemies right there. He was defense breaking. He had the wizards. He had the werewolves, and he didn't fight them.
So it sounds like he's planning to head to the Dragon Lord and have to double heal more a few times and just hope that it all works out. I don't know what the odds are. It's way off the chart.
I mean, if he gets the rolls, it's winnable. But he's got to get the rolls, both high and low. He's got to get high defense rolls, and he's got to get low Dragon Lord rolls. This is going to be an interesting fight. This is going to be interesting. Very interesting. And we have NESCardinality, I shouldn't even say creeping up on that 19,500 you need for level 20. He's rocketing toward it.
Yeah, this is going much faster than I thought. When you can 2 or 3 shot a red dragon, I overestimated with 4 minutes. It's going to take him more like 2.5 minutes.
So at defense power 88, what is the minimum damage that the Dragon Lord attack can do?
That's a great question. The maximum would still be the 48, so I think the minimum's 24, because I think it's always in half. So 24 to 48 with a bite, and so it is the case that more than half the bites would then be a survivable next attack, I think.
Right. So, I mean, as long as it's not a flame-heavy Dragon Lord, I mean, he's got a chance.
Yeah, he definitely has a chance. Assuming he makes it down there with all of his magic points, because he's very likely to need all of them. But yeah, I don't know what the odds are. It's a high variance outcome, and I don't have a sense of if he's 30% or if he's 60%. I don't imagine he could be more than 70%.
And NESCard is 1 experience away. Here's level 20.
From a Warlock. That's just what you expected, right?
6 power, 5 agility, 11 hit points. There it is.
11 hit points, okay. So that's definite 100% go time on NESCardinality side.
Yep, this is, and it's pretty much a free fight for NESCardinality. So if jkoper doesn't get it here, jkoper is in trouble.
And I don't know if we can switch the sound over to jkoper's side. As he's approaching, he's gotten through Charlock pretty quickly, and is approaching the mini-boss for the Dragon Lord. It could still be an enemy we've never seen before.
It's a golem, and they do have the fairy flute.
Yeah, so that's a great outcome as far as jkoper is concerned, because this is not going to be an enemy that is likely to kill him.
Oh, there's a large shield in Brecconary. How did we not catch that before?
I don't know. And I guess Ness did know about it and just decided he was going to pick it up at the end, and maybe that was one of the reasons that factored into the way he was playing that out. If he had the large shield, would he have potentially changed his plan? And no, probably not. That level 20 came so fast. Or the synth saying, put on the death necklace. I don't think jkoper is going to do that. He does manage to walk up the hit points. He's talking to the Dragon Lord. This will be one of the craziest Dragon Lord fights we have seen in the entire tournament, with 88 hit points. Insane.
This is by far, I've never seen a fight with this few hit points before. I've seen 92 before. I have not seen 88 before.
I feel like he just did the incorrect strategy using, well, I guess the herbs here could get him back, and then if he gets an initial bite, he could get one more hit out of it. But it's also a possibility that, I'm not sure about herbing there. We'll see. He goes into the round 2 with 79. It's possible that he'll get a bite and get an initial double off of this. It's crazy.
All right, here we go. 16.
And as an aside, NESCardinality has an agility of 102. He's going to be able to run past everything in Charlock just as easily as jkoper did.
35.
Alright, that looked like a double heal more there. And another. And another. jkoper takes a small risk, taking a swing at 47, and he manages to survive.
We're at 48.
Oh, survives with 1 hit point. Oh, you got to take these risks, though. This is the choice that he has made at 46. I might have swung there, and I would have died.
We're at 73. This one's a freebie. So 73 and 13 is 86.
He's behind, though. He might have to throw a Swagmore here at the end, unless he gets lucky. Or would he choose to just start swinging at 46 and 44? I don't know.
$111.
It's my favorite number. He's going to get 2 more swings if he gets high rolls.
126. He needs a big one. Got it! He got it!
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Can we put up the stats for the Dragon Lord and see how many hit points the Dragon Lord had? And I feel like we might have miscounted something there.
We had to miscount something.
Incredible. 88 hit points. Defeated the Dragon Lord in a bracket single elimination tournament round. NESCardinality with the stunner is going to see jkoper popping up with a dot done.
He has finished in first place in this race with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 35 minutes, and 2 seconds. That was crazy.
When you're racing against NESCardinality, who's ranked number 1 on SRL, and who just about everybody would definitely rank number 1 or number 2 or possibly number 3. Like, I feel like Mr. Holmes and High Spirits are the only other people who are in the same realm. Sometimes you gotta really gamble. jkoper really gambled, and it really paid off. Wow.
I think Zarnax42, our wonderful tracker, does echo the sentiment here that jkoper's grind is earned that win. No doubt that jkoper's grind choice got him that win.
Yeah, I mean, because if he had not, he would still have been a level behind, and so even if he decided to go at 19 when NESCardinality did 20, that was only like a 2.5 minute difference, and he started behind on the grind with about a 10-minute difference. And so if he had done the exact same thing that NESCardinality had done, he would have ended up behind even going at the previous level. And so the selection of the Red Dragon ended up paying off for him, and that is huge. Just an amazing match. And again, we've seen a number of rounds now where the stats have been really crazy. How often do you go to level 20? I mean, jkoper did it on 19, but insanely on 19. A level 20 seed is like a 1 in 50 outcome, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, that's just crazy. I mean, just such a crazy race.
All right, NESCardinality obviously has both more attack power and the hit points to where he doesn't have to worry about having to do 3 heal mores in a row like jkoper did. And so this fight will be basically free, like you said before. And so he's going to finish probably like just 4 minutes behind. Yeah, wow.
Geez, 2 nice big rolls in a row. 49 already.
Yeah, he's going to tear this Dragon Lord to shreds, especially if he keeps getting high rolls like that.
49 and 27, that's what, 78, I think?
And let's point out the fact, again, that this is a seed where the runners had like 40-something hit points at level 11. They had to grind to levels 19 and 20, and they're still finishing around an hour and a half, which is a tournament average. So if you wonder if these runners are very good, yes, Hurtmore came at level 5 or whatever it did, but these are 2 very efficient runners.
Very. I mean, again, for this being a level 19-20 seed to have both of our runners finishing under an hour and 40 minutes is rather crazy. And with that chime, we do have jkoper joining us in the chat. Nicely played, man. Really well done.
Thank you. That was pretty crazy.
Have you ever done a Dragon Lord at that HP before?
I don't think I've ever done one under 90 before.
I don't know that I've ever seen one under 90 before. Maybe one at 89.
Yeah, I know if they've been done. Like, I'm sure Jack has probably done a dozen of them. Yeah, I'll wait for NESCard to come in here. I'm sure he'll be in here.
Okay, I imagine he will be here shortly. The one other thing I do want to ask is, if you were playing a different opponent, would it have changed your strategy at all?
Maybe, but everyone that's in the bracket is deserving. So, I had some bad luck in the beginning. I didn't necessarily have anything extremely good go my way, so I didn't have any reason to feel that I was ahead at any point, I suppose. But I didn't feel like it was going terribly at the same time either, So, it definitely makes me nervous, and I was definitely more nervous for the Dragon Lord fight because I was racing NESCardinality and not because of my HP. And I don't think my Dragon Lord fight was especially lucky or anything either. So.
Oh yeah, I think you had to heal more 3 times in a row at one point, which is not completely unexpected. And yeah, I had to make some tough choices with 46s and 47.
Yeah. Well, I think I swung at every 47 and healed at every 46.
Yep. And I saw a 46 and I was like, I might swing there. And then the Dragon Lord breathed you for 46. So you made the right decision.
Yeah, he was being a jerk for sure. So I mean, he gave me just enough to make it extremely suspenseful and whatnot. So yeah, that was nuts.
It is nuts.
And we are joined by NESCardinality.
Hello.
Hey, NESCard, GG.
GG, jkoper, well done.
Thanks. So what level did you finish at?
I went up to 20, and I was really wondering if you went at 19, and someone told me you did. And
yep.
I've been telling people for months that, that's one of the things I always worry about, someone going a level early against me in a risky fight. And, it didn't occur to me until I was halfway through 19 that it was a possibility. And then I looked at it and I was like, I don't really think anyone would go at 88, but maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, I've never done a fight below 90 before, but I was like, we got stupid amounts of strength here. We got tons of MP. Agility's at 97. There was really very little holding us back other than the HP, But I think that the fight was, much better than 50-50 because I don't think I had good luck at all, and I barely won,
Yeah.
But I got definitely more than half Dragon Lord breaths from him. So, yeah, man, that fight was nuts. So,
how much did you grind red dragons in the swamp cave?
Enough.
A lot. So the main difference between you two, just to give you a sense of what happened, Ness was grind and go earlier, around 52 minutes in, and started with the Armored Knights. jkoper wasn't grind and go until about an hour and 2, but he already had the large shield because he had found Remolder, and so he went immediately to the Red Dragons, which to our commentators, me and Z-Man, seemed like a dubious thing to do, but as the strength started piling up, all of a sudden that Red Dragon grind started turning in jkoper's favor and started making up the experience difference.
The first time I fought one to check what the tile was, I thought it was like 25% stop spell. It was probably 50 in the end, but if it was 75, I got extraordinarily bad luck. That's what deterred me from going and fighting red dragons any earlier. I just thought they were attacking too often, and even with the large shield, we just had such low HP, I didn't think it would be more efficient.
And initially, it wasn't. It wasn't until that big, I think, what was it, the level 16? I think level 16 or 7, that first big strength bump. I mean, jkoper was barely hanging on there as far as your experience lead, because once jkoper got on the grind, NESCardinality had roughly a 2,500 experience lead. And it was fairly constant there until you got that first big bump in strength. That first big bump in strength saw jkoper just cutting into it. And if he had ground to level 20, you guys would have been right on top of each other getting level 20. If not, if jkoper maybe even doesn't get there just a hair earlier. I mean, you guys were within like 30 seconds to a minute of getting level 19 of each other.
And yeah, we had speculated also about the stop spell probability. You had a very small sample, Ness, when you took a look at them, and so you didn't know if it was going to be 25% or 50%, and you also didn't know if it was going to have a second attack. jkoper went immediately back there, and so we got the information and decided to stay on the reds.
So, NESCard eventually switched to red dragons, right?
For the last level, yeah.
The last level, okay.
Yeah, like at level 19, there was no question it would be better, even if they didn't have stop spell at all. And then all of a sudden, they barely used stop spell ever, or they barely attacked me ever. And I was like, oh no, what if, what if I was wrong and they have like 25% stop spell, or sorry, 75%, and I got really unlucky. I was definitely worried.
Yeah, the very first, excuse me. So, let me explain a bit of what happened, the sequence at the end there. I went through the mountain cave when all I had left was to get the token, I believe.
Yep.
Or not the mountain cave, I'm sorry. The swamp cave. And then, so all I had left was to get the token. So my thought was, I'm gonna stop by here, pick up the princess, and then get the coordinates. And if the coordinates are bad, I'm gonna go and return the princess right away.
Right.
But then I had such a rough battle the first time against a red dragon that I had almost no MP left. I did not want to go through another one. So I was like, all right, we're leaving, you and me, princess, and I'm going straight back to the castle. So I returned her right away, and that was good. And then I got the token. I guess that part really wasn't relevant in the end, but then I got the token. It was good to have the Gwaelin's Love. I don't know if you tried to do it without. It was certainly possible, but it was really difficult because we only had a little reference point in the western part of the southern continent.
Yeah, I explored the whole southern swamp continent, and I ended up seeing Tentagel and remembering, well, if it's on the island, I'm totally going to count it out. So yeah, I didn't save the princess.
Oh, hey, nice job then.
Thanks.
But yeah, I wouldn't have given any thought to counting out where that was. I mean, you not only was it on the other continent, but you also had to like go around that huge inlet or mountains or whatever it was to.
Yeah, the order of operations ended up flying a little bit there, or whatever, jkoper, because it was your last thing. You knew you had to go to Cantland. You knew there were going to be coordinates, and so you were planning basically to rescue the princess and possibly not turn her in if the coordinates didn't come up good. And It was only because the red dragon wore you down. That it kind of happened that way. Ness did it a little bit earlier, and I think didn't have all the information yet. You never ended up going to Remolder to see what was in that chest, but at that point you didn't need it, Ness.
Yeah, I never found Remolder. I had everything else when I came out of wherever it was. What was the last thing I did? The mountain cave, I think.
Yeah, Remolder was just like in the southeastern part of the northern continent.
Okay.
Sort of past the.
Got to be past the mountain cave, right?
Yeah, past the mountain cave. That's where it was. Just go south from the mountain cave, and it was just in a big swamp there. So after I got the token, then I went back and I got my rainbow drop, which was pretty close to the town with that dude, Hawksness. So then I went to Hawksness and I was like, I'm going to grind these guys for a little bit. And then I had a bad death or something. So it was then that I decided I'm going to go try the red dragons instead. So I probably wouldn't have stayed on the armored knights for long because I knew that the red dragons were going to be easy based on what I had seen. You know, not super easy with our HP levels, but yeah, I would have if I wouldn't have taken that death, I probably would have like at least spent the rest of my MP there before going back to red dragons.
Yeah. I kept expecting the next level to be enough too. It's so rare to go to level 19 and only have 88 HP. That was pretty amazing. Wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, it was definitely an unusual seed in that way. It had a lot of kindness for us. You know, the armor wasn't too hard to get. The hurt more was relatively early, and the enemies weren't that bad. But grinding it in the middle part was sort of rough, and you know, strength and HP were pretty low throughout until the end when strength just skyrocketed.
Yeah.
One question that the chat had, Ness, is if you had gotten the large shield earlier, do you think that might have influenced your decision to switch over to the red dragon possibly any earlier?
No, it doesn't make that much of a difference. I mean, we maybe take like 5 more damage per attack, something like that. I really I was just looking at how often the red dragon was attacking me and how little HP we had, and I like for most of the armored knight grind, I felt like I was in danger a lot of the time of taking a single attack and having to heal more. I just couldn't see it being more efficient. And the armored knights, I just couldn't miss. It was going so amazing at the beginning. Like it took, it must have been like 60 hurt mores before I missed one. It was amazing. So I really felt good about the decision to fight armored knights. And I could have realized that making the switch, or maybe around level 16, maybe a little later, would have been better at that point for red dragons.
And go ahead.
Sorry. One interesting thing that happened in this fight. I don't know that I've ever thought in a red dragon fight before that it was a good idea to use heal, but I did it a ton in this whole seed. So I you know, all I wanted to do was get above the 1-hit KO threshold. And yeah, so I was kind of alternating between heal and heal more, and it was just it was very different. So
During
it was
Ness's
fun.
one fight with the red dragon early on, when he was just checking the tile, he used heal as well.
Yeah, I definitely understand the importance. You know, if you have like, you know, 29 HP after an attack from a red dragon, you know he has stop spell. Why not heal? And if he uses stop spell, you're safe. If he attacks, you can heal more. Whatever.
Right. Yeah, but man, that was intense, and you got to watch that Dragonlord fight.
Oh, for sure.
That's all I would say.
I look forward to that.
Yeah, thanks. Always a pleasure to race you. You know, gotta step to the level of competition and whatnot. So, I'm sure you would have had a much better chance of winning this whole thing than I would. But I'm gonna do my best to carry on our brackets flag, I guess.
Best of luck moving forward.
Yeah, thank you.
And yeah, looking forward, jkoper in the next round of the bracket, you'll be facing Rye Guy. Do you have any thoughts on that match looking ahead now?
Rye Guy's pretty good, you know, relatively new. I shouldn't say fairly new, but relatively new that he's been around for probably a year or two at least at this point. But to me, it still feels new. So, but he's pretty a really solid player. So it's going to be you know, another tough match going forward. But I'm looking forward to it. So. But thank you so much, guys, for the restream tracking commentary. I can't imagine that we could have put on too much better of a show here. That was pretty ridiculous. So, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you guys. This is bound to be a great rewatch.
Yeah, and so thanks again to our restreamer, Lord of the Synth, our tracker Zarnax, myself, Lorgon111, and Z-Man, my co-commentator Z-Man. What else do you got to say?
Well, I think that no, but going to jkoper's last little point there, no, you guys really could not have put on much of a better show at all. It was an absolutely fantastic watch, and if anybody managed to come in late at this, even if you may have gotten spoiled here at the end, go watch the race. It's a phenomenal watch.
I don't think I've ever seen a more interesting half hour of grinding at the end of a race.
I've certainly not. I've never had. I mean, usually when it comes to half an hour grinding, we're looking for things to talk about, but that half hour of grinding, we barely shut up. I mean, just because of everything that was going on. But anyways, what do we have going on tomorrow in the Dragon Warrior Randomizer tournament? It looks like we've got three races tomorrow. Tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on RPG Limit Break, we have High Spirits versus Centroid 41. Tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Randomania, we have Lorgon versus Zarnax 42. I could have sworn I just heard their names somewhere. I don't know. I don't know. And then tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on RPG Limit Break, we have Silverfire versus Thurwolf. So we've got 3 more great matches for you guys tomorrow here on RPG Limit Break and on the Randomania family of networks.
So many great matches that I'm looking forward to watching or racing in, as the case may be.
And I actually get to commentate one of those tomorrow evening. Looking forward to that.
Woohoo!
So it looks like NESCardinality, it looks like you're going to have a few extra viewers because it looks like we are all headed to your channel.
Oh my. Well, thank you very much. My stream will continue.
Indeed. Excellent. We love hearing that. We love watching you. And if you're in chat and for some reason you're not following NESCardinality or you're not following jkoper, man, you gotta give these guys a follow. They play so many different things. jkoper plays so many different randos. NESCardinality, for some odd reason, plays a lot of NES games. Just they're fantastic to watch. Go follow them if you haven't already. They're fantastic follows.
Yeah, I don't think anyone has done more SRL racing than jkoper, which is pretty neat. That's a lot of dedication.
These are facts.
All right. So, any final comments before we get out of here, Lorgon?
I hope I get to see any races that are as much fun as this one.
Indeed. So, once again, for our restreamer, Lord of the Synth, for our trackers, Zarnax42, for my co-commentator, Lorgon111, I am Z-Man. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great night, and let's go watch NESCardinality play some more games.
Good night, everybody.